It's time now to check your money with America's money maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Good morning, Vicki.
Very good. Good morning to you again, George. Good to see you.
Always good to see you as well. And hear you too. How about that?
Yeah, that works.
Hey, Vicki, I'm going to say one thing to you. Butter.
Butter? Thank you. Thank you. That's that inside joke, okay? I don't know. We'll tell everybody about that later.
We'll just leave that right there.
Okay. All right. So anyway, George, lots of things are again happening this week. I wanted to start with the fact that we had the first presidential address to joint members of Congress on Wednesday. The president actually has also been talking about, or at least they've been dripping out a little bit at a time, some of the provisions concerning the infrastructure bill. He did more and he covered more of that on Wednesday night. But I wanted to focus on a couple of things that sort of tie together to what we have talked about concerning infrastructure and taxes. Because if you remember last week, we talked about tax deferral. We also reminded everyone that although the tax filing date has been extended, it's coming up pretty fast now, even on the extension date. Mm-hmm. And not the classic extension, but the extension from April 15th, which is now for filing May 17th. So if you haven't seen your tax preparer, please make sure you do that this week. But anyway, here's where I'm headed. The question always comes when we have any type of major expenditures, how are we going to pay for it? As though we have to go print it or, but how are we going to pay for it? This is a very unique approach that I see the administration taking. Hadn't even thought about this. They announced earlier in the week that they're looking at actually doing something that every business does. And here's where I'm headed, George. If you were a business owner and you had sold something to one of your customers basically on an extension on credit, and it was time for at the end of the 30 days to collect that, you would call that expected receivables, right?
Yes.
And if the individual didn't actually remit those funds to you in a timely manner, what would you do? Probably hire somebody to go out and collect the receivables.
Right.
Well, I didn't know this, and this may be news to many, that on an annual basis, there's about $1 trillion a year in uncollected tax payments.
Really?
$1 trillion a year in uncollected tax payments. Why? Well, there's been lots of debate on why, but one of the things that's being pointed out is that the department, the people that we hired to collect taxes, we're not talking about raising taxes, just the taxes that were due, that were uncollected. The people who were hired and charged with doing that, their department has been gutted so as far as the numbers of individuals charged with following through on those collections, meaning the IRS, over the last 8-10 years, that they don't have the manpower to actually follow through on the collection. And of course, all of us, do you enjoy having, paying your taxes, George? No. So
I don't think there's an enjoyment. That's not the word I use.
So there's a lot of people who just didn't, they didn't send it. And we didn't have the manpower to go get it. And it's been realized by the administration that one of the ways possibly to pay for this infrastructure, for some of the infrastructure needs, is actually, let's just go collect the taxes that are already on the books that should have been paid over time, so that we can have that money in the revenue stream and continue to collect, with not even talking about changing the tax structure, continue to collect what is already due. So they're discussing and possibly are going to empower the IRS by hiring more people, novel idea, hiring more people to do the job that's already on the books that should be done. In fact, they pegged this year somewhere around 780 billion that they think they can collect to move now from the collection stage over to the revenue stage and use it to fund many of the domestic infrastructure programs that have been proposed in the budget. I think that's pretty novel. Just go get the money that people already owe you.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, okay, let's see how that goes. Okay, I'm sure there's going to be more reaction and more commentary. People much smarter than Vicki, okay, that are going to talk about, well, I didn't say smarter, but people who have more pull than Vicki actually going out and having conversations around this. And I think some of us should probably have more conversations. So I invite you to write us at info@brackensfsn.com or to give us a call at 315-930-4499. Go onto our Facebook page and like and share, and go on to the YouTube page, subscribe, share, and like. We want to hear from you. So before I close, George, I just want to put this little teaser out. Next week.
Yes, next week.
We're going to talk about opportunities in the financial services industry. Opportunities in the financial services industry. So be sure and tune in next week, because we have some special announcements and some special programs that we want to make sure everyone gets involved in.
Sure.
At this
Sounds
point,
good.
George, I'll say our plate is full.
All right. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. America's Money Maven.